You're concerned about the Indian bowling. Primarily, you're concerned about our fast bowlers. That's been your biggest concern, hasn't it? I mean, that's the biggest concern at the moment for the Indian selectors. Who are your best 2 or 3 fast bowlers?
Yeah, I mean, see, fast bowlers is definitely one area that we need to look into when we are planning for before we play any opposition. It's so important, especially in places like Australia and New Zealand, to start well up front and take advantage of those conditions.
We don't have a Zair Khan. Let's be honest. We
Yeah,
don't
I mean,
have a Zair
obviously we
Khan.
lack that experience without any doubt.
You lack the experience of a Zair Khan. I'm just wondering on South Africa, how good is that team? Because we mentioned De Villiers, we
I
mentioned
think
Steyn.
it's a fabulous team, and again, like you, I would rate them, right up there with Australia. And New Zealand, as I said earlier, is slightly behind them, but not so behind.
And we are at number 4.
I would say we are at number 4. My heart says something else, though. But with South Africa's again firepower, I think they've got batters who are familiar with playing in similar conditions. In South Africa you have bouncy wickets, so the batters are also used to playing those kind of shots, and the bowlers are used to bowling those kind of lengths. So it's definitely an advantage to South African team for knowing the conditions better than the most.
So, when you look for a World Cup, they've also lost their great player Kallis. Many believe that in the last 20 years, the 2 greatest players that the world has seen is Sachin Tendulkar and Jacques Kallis. You in batting, he as an all-rounder. Can you replace, I know we can't replace a Tendulkar easily. They've struggled to also replace a Kallis. Is that the one weak spot you see in the South Africans? They don't have a great all-rounder in the Kallis mold at least.
They definitely don't have that category all-rounder. And, to replace Jacques Kallis, you have to wait for God knows how many number of years. It's not so easy to have someone of Jacques Kallis' stature. He has been a terrific player for South African team and world cricket. All of us have enjoyed. I mean, I didn't enjoy Jacques Kallis when he played against India, but when he played against someone else, it was a joy to watch. To find someone to replace Kallis is going to be difficult, and I don't see anyone in that team doing that job at the moment. But if you don't have a fast bowling all-rounder, you can always find a spin bowling all-rounder, and I think JP Duminy can do that job, because eventually, if not up front, then at least in the middle stages, if someone can come and give those breakthroughs, or even give you those 6-7 overs in the middle, those crucial overs, that is what you're looking for, and I think Duminy can do that.
We've talked about 4, the big 4, as you're calling them, of this World Cup. Australia, South Africa, India and New Zealand. 3 other test playing teams. England, West Indies, Sri Lanka. Do you see any of these teams being in any position to win the World Cup? Or at best, can they cause only 1 or 2 upsets? Do you think any of these teams, Sangakkara has the best record of any player in the last couple of years?
Yeah, but I still feel that, their bowling attack is again a weak link.
That's Sri Lanka.
Yeah, I feel that.
Your friend Lasith Malinga from Mumbai Indians, not the same bowler that he once was?
No. He is very much, right up there, as good as anyone. And, he's proven that for a number of years.
But he
need
lacks the
not
backup.
go out and prove anything to anyone.
He lacks the backup.
But he lacks support. I don't think they have that support.
Remember, they won the T20 World Cup, Sachin. Sri Lanka won the T20 World Cup only a year ago.
No, that's fine. But I mean, I still feel that if you have to pick top 4 teams, then these would be my top 4 teams. Sri Lanka, of course.
West Indies?
They will rely on certain players heavily. So will West Indies. But West Indies, by not having Dwayne Bravo and Pollard, and now Sunil Narayan. Sunil Narayan, I think, is out. And with these 3 players not in the squad, is a huge setback.
England?
They're going to find difficult to overcome these things. I mean, I really was surprised to to read that Bravo was not part of their squad and Pollard was not part. England, one of the top bowling attacks again. They have a good bowling attack for those conditions. I'm not so sure about batting again. You know, there are a couple of big names, but if they don't deliver, then it's going to be difficult for England, I feel.
The one team that, of course, test playing team we've not spoken about is the team we also all want to know, Pakistan.
Pakistan, yeah.
Is Pakistan simply not the Pakistan that used to play when Sachin Tendulkar was playing?
See, with time things change, and so will the teams. You know, I remember when we played in 2003 against Pakistan at Centurion. Look at the bowling attack: Wasim Akram, Shoaib Akhtar, Waqar Yunus, Abdul Razak, Shahid Afridi. I mean, leading attack in the world, I would say. They definitely don't have attack of that caliber, but that doesn't mean that you know, the newer lot cannot deliver. They can still deliver, but you know, they lack that that substance. That,
You mentioned to me before the program that you believe that their left arm fast bowler, Mohammad Irfan, tall, 6 feet 10, is the only bowler who you think could become a match winner for Pakistan. He's the kind of cricketer who could be a match winner for Pakistan.
I think he is one bowler who can consistently bowl well in Australia and New Zealand. The rest of the guys, there are a few guys, Wahab Riaz can bowl, but I feel they might lack consistency.
You know, Sachin, interestingly, the first World Cup you played was in Australia in 1992. And that time cricket was a different game. You could score 250 like Pakistan made in the final and win a World Cup. What has changed, you think, between 92 and 2015 as we are going into this World Cup? What is the biggest change you have seen in the one-day game?
See, in 1992, we didn't have those big totals. I think we scored some 230 or something against Pakistan at Sydney, and we won comfortably.
So 230, 250, 270 were all winning scores.
No, 270 was a massive total in those days. I think the reason to that is, one is the law has changed, 5 fielders inside the circle, but more importantly, it is because of the introduction of T20. T20 cricket has allowed batsmen to think differently, think out of the box. You know, how many times, I don't remember any batter in 1992 playing a reverse sweep of a fast bowler and hitting a 6 at third man.
And sometimes they now reverse sweep in the first over also.
They do that, and then that is only because while playing T20, you've practiced those shots on regular basis in the nets.
Are you more
not
fearless?
About just
Are you more fearless as a result? The Warners, the Maxwells, the McCullums.
You're fearless because you've practiced. So it's like hitting a normal sweep. You've practiced to hit normal sweep, then it comes naturally.
So De Villiers is actually practicing these shots now.
This is impossible to play without practice. You know, you have to practice these shots, and you have to find the body position. It's like playing a straight drive, how you want your head to be, how you want your toe position, how you want the weight to transfer. Similarly, to play this shot, how you want and where you want your hands to be is important, because this shot is a predetermined shot. Even before the bowler has released the ball, you've planned that shot in your mind. So then it becomes important to figure out that your hands should be ready to also face the yorker, as well as it could be a bouncer. So you should be prepared to play a reverse pull, come reverse sort of scoop shot, reverse sweep, all those kind of things, which is not easy.
Is this the biggest change that has taken place? That in this World Cup, for example, even if a team scores 300 or you need 100 in the last 10 overs, teams will now think that they can win the match.
Don't give up is what I'll say. And opposition, when fielding side, better be on your toes, because with this combination and 2 new balls, towards the end, there's going to be less reverse swing. They might get bit of reverse swing happening, but less.
And batsmen are fearless. As you said, T20 has made batsmen totally fearless.
Because they have practiced, they have played those shots in T20 format. They have chased those big runs. You know, chasing at 9 runs and over is a standard thing in T20. So if you are doing it in the last 10 overs or almost 20 overs in T20, then why wouldn't you do that in the last 10 overs of 50 over match?
Would Sachin Tendulkar reverse sweep Dale Steyn? Would you even try to reverse sweep a Dale Steyn? Or would you do a lap sweep of Dale Steyn?
I would think of lap sweep, not reverse sweep. Not my cup of tea. I'd leave that to AB de Villiers to play.
Welcome back to this World Cup 2015 special here on Headlines Today, where we are talking to the master blaster himself, Sachin Tendulkar, and looking ahead to who will win the World Cup. The big question. Sachin is analyzing all the teams for us. You know, Sachin, every World Cup throws up heroes. 2011 threw up Yuvraj Singh. He became the man of the series. Every match virtually he performed. You've named some cricketers as we are analyzing the teams, but anyone who stands out, who we don't know of maybe. I remember, you know, just a few days ago, Luke Ronchi of New Zealand scored a brilliant 100. Do you see players like that in Australia, New Zealand, some new players emerging who could redefine the way we look at the game?
I mentioned about Kane Williamson.
Yes.
I think if Corey Anderson gets going, he's another player, because see the
and you've seen him in Mumbai Indians.
Yes, I mean I know how hard he hits, and looking at the size of New Zealand grounds, they are slightly odd shape, you know, and there if the bowler doesn't know where to bowl from which end, you can really be destroyed. And Corey Anderson has that firepower to destroy you. I mean he can really clear the ball and hit miles.
You know, that's interesting that you're saying that Corey Anderson is the kind of player, because every team needs that kind of firepower player now. At 6, 7, we've talked about Maxwell doing that for Australia. Do you see someone there in the fast bowling? Do bowlers win World Cups? You know, we always focus on the batsmen, but do bowlers win World Cups? You know, does a Mitchell Johnson, for example?
I was just going to come to that name, because, you know, when I retired, at that time, in that post-match press conference, within those retirement questions, somebody asked me what's going to happen between England and Australia when they play in Australia.
Yes.
To which I said, you know, I've seen how Johnson was bowling in the nets. I was with Mumbai Indians, and if Johnson is in good form and if he's fit, he will give hard time to England, and he did. I would like to repeat that again. If Johnson is fit for this World Cup and he plays throughout the World Cup, then he's going to be one key factor. When there are big partnerships, he can still come somewhere in between and give you that important breakthrough. Johnson should be used as an aggressive bowler and not as a defensive bowler, someone who can pick you wickets.
It's interesting you're saying Johnson, because you're saying that, you know, we've discussed Dale Steyn. Many believe that Dale Steyn and Johnson are the two best fast bowlers in the world. Would you go with that? De Villiers and Kohli in batting?
I would also like to say that Mone Morkel in good rhythm will be a handy customer here.
James Anderson in good rhythm?
James Anderson, to a certain extent, even Stuart Broad. Stuart Broad is tall, and if he gets going, again, you know, they've bowled well in patches. James Anderson obviously has bowled well consistently, but I think Stuart Broad also can be an important bowler for England. He's bowled well in patches, but if he continues to bowl the way he has bowled in patches, then he can be a serious contender.
You know, I'm just wondering that, are we saying that in Australia fast bowlers will decide this World Cup? Given the nature of the wicket, 2 new balls, so you've got to take wickets early. Do you believe that, and conditions sometimes in New Zealand particularly could really favor swing bowling? Will fast bowlers decide this World Cup, or do you believe spinners still have a chance? And is there any spinner like that you see before you, who in world cricket today can decide a World Cup or can win a match for his team? Any spin bowler at all comes to your mind?
See, it all also depends on the kind of surface that they're going to play on.
That's right.
You know, because uh, if we were playing this World Cup in India or Sri Lanka, then we can say that, you know, spinners are going to play an important role. But also in Australia, spinners will play an important role. But right now, you know, sitting here in Mumbai, I can't tell you that the spinners are going to be effective because the ball would turn towards the end of the tournament. Yes, the wickets will assist spinners to a certain extent, but I still believe if you have quality fast bowlers are going to trouble the batters more because we are playing with two new balls.
And that's our biggest weakness, isn't it? We've seen Umesh Yadav, we've seen Mohammad Shami,
We definitely have better spinners in our team. So I wouldn't say each team, either they have quality fast bowlers or quality spinners. But very, very few teams are, I think, balanced with both. And I think we are better balanced with maybe our spin bowling attack.
How important is captaincy in one-day cricket? You know, MS Dhoni was the captain of the 2011 team. He took us to victory in the final. Is captaincy going to play an important role in this World Cup? Dhoni knows what it is to win a World Cup. No other captain in this World Cup knows what it is to win a World Cup 50-over tournament. Is that a slight advantage maybe in a crucial pressure cooker, semi-final or quarter-final, which is a knockout tournament, to have a captain who knows what it takes to win a match?
I think obviously having MS there is an advantage.
And would you bat him up? Would you play an MS at number 5 or even number 3?
Depending again on situation, you know, there cannot be fixed rules where he only bats at number 6 or number 7 sometimes. You know, he could go at number 5. If you know, there have been big partnerships, then he could also bat number 4, whatever. I mean, so we should be flexible and also should be in a position to surprise oppositions. You know, it's also about producing surprises.
And I'm just wondering whether, if you remember, every World Cup produces one surprise. Last time Ireland beat England, if you remember.
In Bengaluru.
In Bengaluru. Do you see any of these teams? I don't know if you've seen any of the Afghanistans, UAEs. Have they only come to make up the numbers, the Bangladeshis?
To be honest, I have not been following those teams. But
should we be careful of those matches, because you never know, somebody produces, as you said, small ground, throws up a big 100?
See, I'm a firm believer that, you know, don't get overconfident. You treat each and every opposition with full respect and don't change your pre-match planning and preparation. You don't look at the opposition. You know, it really doesn't matter who you play against. You respect cricket.
You know, that's an interesting way that you're putting it. You respect the game more than you respect, you respect the game and then you automatically respect the opposition. Let me ask you in conclusion, Sachin, as a World Cup winner, when you went into those knockout matches, was the attitude very different? Because you knew in 50 overs you could be home. Is there a difference? Is this World Cup about three good days?
Can't think like that.
Is this World Cup about 3 good days?
Yeah, but even before the game starts, if you start thinking that if it doesn't go well, then you go home, then you might as well get a boarding card and go back home. Because, you know, you always approach a match thinking that you are going to win this game. And you only think about all those factors which are going to help you win this game. You know, there is no room for negative thoughts. Yes, I mean, in a playing 11, you know, not all 11 players are in good nick, but the ones who are in good nick, they have to take along those players who are not in good nick, who are not in that right space, and make sure that you create an environment for them so that they feel wanted and they feel that they can go out and win a game for you.
You know, those 3, but is the attitude different? In a group match to the knockouts, will the attitude be different?
No, because also in a group match, there becomes a do or die situation. So those games are as good as knockouts, you know. And basically, I think in a tournament like this, you want to go out and win each and every game and try and be as consistent as possible, not to take anything lightly. I mean, at least in my case, I can tell you that I have not taken any game in my life lightly. So, you know, it really doesn't matter whether it is we are playing the World Cup finals.
Even today, if you go to Shivaji Park, you will not take a game lightly, right?
I don't like to. I mean, I've been brought up like that. So, you know, I respect. That's why I said respect cricket.
What is the final going to be? Is it going to be Australia, India, Australia, South Africa?
You said it before I could answer that. Those 3 days, were approaching the finals and also the finals. It is about then who handles the nerves better.
Because South Africa has had good teams in the past, but choked in the big knockouts.
Yeah, I mean that has happened, but again, that has happened doesn't mean that it will continue to happen. So they can well go out and win this tournament. It's open for those, I think, top teams more so. But then again, we discussed the other four sides, which I didn't name. They have the potential also to come and surprise most of the guys. They have the ammunition. So don't underestimate them or don't rule them out completely. It's just that you asked me to name four, so I can only name four.
No, it's true, because in the 1970s, every World Cup was dominated by the West Indies. Then we had that big upset in 1983. And this time we don't have any one team that you can say is very much better than the others. There are, as you said, 3 or 4 teams who on their day could win this World Cup. That's what you're basically saying. It's
Absolutely.
an open World Cup.
Absolutely.
Okay, an open World Cup is what Sachin Tendulkar is saying. He's kept his money in his pocket. He's not willing to bet, he says, on a cricket match. But he's given you 4 teams that he thinks are really in a position to reach the semi-finals. And the good news is India is among those 4 teams of Sachin that he hopes will reach the semi-finals. Sachin, we will wait and see how this tournament unfolds. We'll have plenty more from you, including, of course, your views on the big match against Pakistan. But for now, Sachin Tendulkar, as always, pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sachin Ramesh Tendulkar will be there with you throughout World Cup 2015 on Headlines Today. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.